Okay. Okay, here. Okay, here. Yeah, we talk about consignment stock today. So based on the picture, look at here, like consigner means is our warehouse. Then we look at number one, product shipment to, like I said, customer to the vendor, the customer here. And number two, so if you look at here, so again, let's just make it straight. So consignment is kind of like agreement between the supplier and the buyer. So first it's like we ship the product from our warehouse to the customer here, and the customer could just sell it directly to the consumer, or if they cannot sell it, they just return it. They sell it, they just return it. Called purchase order. No, sorry. When they sell it, they have to make a purchase order here, an invoice, and then issue invoice, and then inventory forecast and everything else. But in some case, for consignment stock, let's say, I mean, like, let's say we create a new product and we want the buyer to help selling our product on the market. So first we have to ship our product and then ask them, hey, could I put my products in your store or in your place or whatever? So, and like maybe you could introduce my product to a consumer. But at that time, like before the product is being like being bought by the consumer, you cannot like charge them money, like it's like the way that you it's kind of hard to explain. I don't know the way they do it a lot in Cambodia, but I have some background in oil company. Let's say we just make a brand new oil and we go to a depot, like depot or garage, like garage, and we ask them and we told them, hey, can I like, we call like pnya for you the word pnya, can I pnya my let's say my oil up to drum in your store, and then when anyone need like let's say this kind of oil, you could introduce my oil to them and you sell it to them. But at the same time, I don't charge you right away. I charge you whenever you sell the oil to consumer, So normally when you deliver the product to someone, you have to charge them money, right? But with consignment, because we want to introduce our new product to the market, we use consignment agreement. Again, we use consignment agreement. We just put our product in their store without charging them. We charge them whenever the consumer come to buy our product from their store. Does everyone get that point? Get a point here? Like in Cambodia, we call like Bamnan Chai Chai. Like we, I don't know. You have some background in kind of business. It's easier for you to understand. Before I don't know how it worked too, but after I worked in kind of oil company for a while, so I understand it. Yeah, so they don't charge you right away. So they just like us, the consignor, have to take care of the delivery to the buyer right away, and we have to take care of everything else. Yeah. So here, consignment stock is something that is supplied to a customer before payment, on the basis that the consumer will only pay for what has been sold or used and can return any unsold stock Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Let's see. Uh, let's say like for the oil company, let's say for the oil, let's say the consumer they use some of our oil and they don't like it, and when they don't like it, there's so there's some stock left over, right? So no one use it, and then like those leftover oil they could return it back to the oil company because like they don't want it anymore. So and yeah, they don't have to pay anything. That's part of the agreement, consignment agreement. So so the point of consignment stock is like again when you have a new product and you want to infiltrate the market fast, quickly, you have to do consignment agreement. Like you cannot like if you have a new product, sure, like no one gonna trust like our product gonna trust our quality. So we we go to contact the retailer and ask them whether they could introduce our product to the consumer. Yeah. So once they introduce the consumer and the consumer buy it, and then we could like issue a purchase order and charge them money. And if they don't buy it, they want to return it. Yeah, we have to bring it back. So yeah, this is one of the market strategy.
Excuse me, sir, my connection just got lost. I want to ask
Okay.
about, for example, if the product is sold, will the consignee get um, the commission from the consigner for
Oh
selling
no.
the product?
Usually it, it depends if you are a retailer or depot, and you don't really get commission. Like it's not commission. I mean, it's the profit. Net profit. Let's say they give you for the oil, they give you consigner set a price for you like $500 per drum, but you could sell like 550 or 650, depending on you, and the net profit belong to you. Say if you are working for the company, let's say a salesperson, and you help to sell all for the company, then you get salary from the company. Usually, salesperson don't get a lot of salary, but they they get commission. Let's say like $20, $15 per drum. You know, consignee like they don't get commission. They just like they make profit. They make profit right away. So when the consignor introduce the oil to the consignee, to the buyer, to the bull or whatever retailer, they already set the price. Let's say if the consumer buy the product, they set the price, and the consignee could set their own price when they sell it to the consumer. And yeah, the net profit is belong to them. They took all the profit. Yeah, it's kind of really safe here because yeah, like if they have leftover inventory, the consignee could return it back to the consignor, so they don't have to waste anything. So we don't have to deal with like inventory strategy. We don't have to worry about like overstocking. Okay. So like for short definition, it's like you will own, you still own what have not been used by your customer. It's like from the consignor perspective. Even though you put your product in consignee's warehouse, like retailer warehouse, but you still own it as long as our product has not been sold to the consumer. You still own it. You know. This from the we call vendor. Let's say consignor to vendor perspective. Okay, so yeah, so this is like one short example of how the agreement works. I say normally like the consignment agreement it take long, like usually 3 to 4 months, up to 6 months, or up to a year. So let's say year one, the consignment, the vendor, they have like 1,000 units of the product, and then the retailer or our buyer, they could not sell anything because it's a new product, right? So we still have 1,000 unit back. Second month, the buyer could sell like 100 units, so we still have like 900 units left over. Third month, yeah, 100 unit, yeah, they use 100 unit more, so we have 800 units left over. So and then the vendor still still have ownership over 800 units. The fourth month, yeah, the retailer could sell our product like up to 200 units, and then we still own another 600. Yeah. Oh, also when they say uh, the payment has to be paid by the end of the month, you know. I mean, it depends on the agreement between the vendor and the buyer, and so on and so forth until like the last month, the 6th month, uh, they could sell up to 250 units, and you don't own anything more. Okay. Okay. Any other question? So for the consignment inventory, there is everything that have pros and cons. So from the vendor perspective, yeah, when they sign agreement, they agree to set up a long-term business with the customer, right? So it's easy to find customer with the consignment inventory. So you don't have to persuade them very much. You just say, hey, I need your help to put my product in your store. So if someone buy it, and then you take the profit, and then you I mean, like you're not paying us until someone buying it, and the customer could set their own price. And another pros benefit is lower freight cost. Lower freight cost means lower delivery cost. I could say that in our country it's almost zero. So when you ask the customer to sign in for consignment inventory, so you're gonna guarantee that you deliver your new product to their warehouse, so that the customer don't have to deal anything, don't have to deal with anything. Yeah, they just like provide us some space to put our product, to show our products. So we, the vendor, have to take care of the delivery, the freight cost, yeah. And service, provide service. So provide technical service, like explain uh, what our new product can do, what is the potential of our product, what is the distinctiveness of our product to others product that already exist in the market. And another pro is the position as incumbent supplier. So again, when the agreement set up, you you like, if the business going well, if the customer could sell our products to the consumer, and then like you're gonna become their like supplier, like the new supplier. So it's easier to find like retailer that we could supply them with this strategy. And for the con, yes, there is always a risk and a cost for doing consignment inventory. Uh, so the main important point is the holding cost. So everything costs money. Let's say financing cost of capital. So again, when we sell a product, we want the money right away, right? From us as the vendor perspective. But with the consignment inventory, yeah, I agree that we could infiltrate the market quickly, but we don't get payment right away until our customer be able to sell our product. So it's kind of like a problem sometimes when, let's say, you put your oil into one depot, and then that depot is like they don't want to sell our product. They could sell other brand. Like they don't want to bother selling our product. They don't care because there is no, like, maybe there is no incentive for them, or there's little incentive for them to sell it. So it's like, yeah, it's a financial cost of capital. We call it gọp đáy, like language, like gọp đáy for like a long term. Yeah, like some customer, like, they don't really care so much. They don't care about helping to advertise our product. So our product stay at their depot for like many months, no one buying it, or maybe they put, maybe like they hide our product somewhere else. We don't know. So that called like financial cost of capital. Another point of the holding cost is the called obsolescence. Sorry. So when, let's say, consignment agreement, it takes long to sell all our products. Sometimes like 3 or 4. So in our sample, I said to 6 months. But if, like, let's say in the 5th month, our customer doesn't want to sell it anymore, or let's say, all right, in in the next 3 or 4 months, I have to move my warehouse, or I have to repair my warehouse, and I want like all of the product to be gone. And then you have to deal with, like bringing our products back to our warehouse. So it costs about like shipping costs, bring our products back to our warehouse, and like, yeah, it's another cost. Again, if they don't want to sell, and if they don't want to keep our product in their warehouse for so long, that's also a problem. Because sometimes with consignment inventory, it take their space. So yeah, some warehouse, they don't want us to use their space for more than 3 or 4 months. So what if they cannot sell all our product within those period of time? Then we're gonna have a problem with that. Maybe some warehouse, let's say, they they're doing really good with their business, and like for example, with the oil, they could sell other brand, like they're really good, and their consumer like the other brand. So they feel like they don't want to sell like a new brand that they don't trust. They don't want to introduce a new brand to the consumer. If the consumer get like if the oil that's not compatible their with the consumer's engine or consumer vehicle, it's gonna put a bad reputation for their depot, for their brand, for their retailer, or for their brand name. Yeah, so it's kind of a challenge too when you set up a consignment inventory. Another point is the damage. Yeah, sometimes when you leave your item in someone else's warehouse, sometimes there's damage due to poor handling. So who gonna responsible for that? So be sure when you establish a consignment agreement with someone, you have to address them like clearly. What if the damage happened to your product? Who will be responsible for it? Usually, usually it's you, the vendor, who is responsible for it. But you need to like you need to set up condition. Like set up condition is like uh like that can is if like if you are the one who totally responsible for the damage or for the loss or someone steal our product, what if the customer, they don't really care about their, like, make sure our product store properly, They don't want to. They say they leave our product outside and someone come and steal it. You know. So you need to set condition and say if our product got damaged inside their warehouse and no one do anything bad on it, or no one steal it, or no one uh, damage due to mishandling from the customer, like from like the customer action, and then you, the vendor, gonna responsible for it. But if like it's a damage due to the customer mishandling or poor handling, then it's gonna be like their responsibility, and you could charge money from it. But usually, like when we're trying to introduce our new product to the vendor, especially to the customer, especially customer who are doing good business with other brand name, with like our competitor, we could say our competitor, we don't want to put a lot of like pressure on them. So you want to please them, please them as much as possible. Usually the holding cost, uh, based on the research, it costs around like 3%. Okay, 3% of the money that we earn from selling the products. Yes, the holding cost. Okay. Another point is we call reconciling inventory. We call it trust. So again, like if you want to establish consignment agreement with the customer, you need to make sure you trust them. You need to make sure you ask for a copy of their license, or their like business license registration or whatever. You ask a copy of their ID, national ID, just in case something wrong, you could like file a complaint or get help from police or authority, or at least you know them. At least like the customer have a good reputation of doing business with uh, other company. You know, you cannot like just put our product with the customer without doing background check. You cannot do that, especially for high value products. So reconciliation inventory is about the trust. All right, from a customer perspective, customer perspective is like from like the buyer. Let's say the buyer. All right, so they could with a consignment agreement, they could get our product for lower price. Because the vendor, they want to infiltrate the market, and they want the customer to help introducing our product to the consumer. So sure, we need to give them a lower price so they could make some profit. And usually we do it with like economy of scale. So we send them with a high volume of inventory. So high volume of inventory, so the price is also cheaper. Lower freight, so they don't have to deal with shipping or transportation. And another point is reduce load time. So with consignment inventory, the vendor gonna take care of like deliver the product from the vendor warehouse to the buyer warehouse, and we're gonna take care of loading, unloading, everything. Yeah. So the customer don't have to worry about anything. They just like introduce the product to the consumer, sell it, make profit, and then pay off the vendor later on. Right. You guys have any questions? Okay, go ahead.
No, sir.
Okay, I think this is all for today. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, uh, that's all for today. I know it's kind of hard, Cambodia, so I'm gonna keep it short. And hopefully you guys enjoy your weekend.